最近、アルジャジーラが報じたあるインタビュー映像が世界的な波紋を呼んでいます。渦中の人物は、かつて鄧小平の通訳を務め、現在も中国政府の代弁者として立ち回るビクター・ガオ氏。当初、彼は世界に蔓延する中国への偏見を払拭するという強気の姿勢でカメラの前に座りました。しかし、対話が深まるにつれ、彼が発する言葉は意図せず中国の生々しい現実を浮き彫りにし、世界中の視聴者を震撼させることとなったのです。
Where is the trial for this man you're just accusing of corruption?
He's somewhere in China. You will never see him.
I live in the United States of America, where I can say that Donald Trump is I don't know, hypothetically, an orange-faced narcissist. No one in China has that kind of freedom to talk about their government, to talk about President Xi Jinping in that way. You can't say anything like that. You wouldn't dare say anything like that because you know what will happen to you when you go home. You know what will happen to your family. That's what China is. My guest this week is Victor Gao, former interpreter to the late Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping, vice president of the Center for China and Globalization in Beijing, and an ardent promoter of the People's Republic.
雰囲気が緊迫してきましたね。この交換がどう交わすのか、一緒に注目していきましょう。
China has upped its military spending. It's expanding its nuclear arsenal. It now has the biggest navy in the world. Chinese President Xi Jinping has said that the country's military should be capable of, quote, fighting and winning wars, and told the military to focus all your energy on fighting, improve your capability to win. Victor, who do you want to fight? And who do you want to win against?
First of all, the Chinese military spending is the second largest in the world, but it is only a fraction of that of the United States. Therefore, China's defensive in nature, is not for fighting anyone except those who want to invade China or to launch a war against China. China's military spending is for peace rather than war.
You say it's for peace, but your neighbors don't agree. Your neighbors are pretty worried about you. You go through the list. Japan has sounded the alarm, saying your military buildup is very serious concern to them. India is worried about China on its border. And the Philippines president has warned that China is becoming a more pronounced and worrisome threat, he says. Those are the elected governments of countries representing over 1.6 billion people in Asia. This is not the United States, this is not the West, these are your Asian neighbors saying, we're worried about China.
Maybe you mentioned three of the neighboring countries of China. Let's talk about each of them very quickly. Japan unconditionally surrendered not only to the United States but also to China in 1945. And if you read very carefully the unconditional surrender document that Japan signed, then you will know how Japan needs to conduct its foreign affairs as well as its military troops with China and with all those countries that Japan unconditionally surrendered for.
China, in 2024, the defense spending is going up by 7%, the most for 5 years. You've had 29 consecutive years of military expenditure growth, the most of any country in the world. Since 2022, China has increased military drills around Taiwan. It's escalated since the new Taiwanese president was inaugurated in May. China is not a fan of him. Since then, there's been almost daily activity involving China's warships, drones, cyber attacks against Taiwan. China is getting ready to invade Taiwan, isn't it?
There is only one China. Taiwan is part of China, and the government of the People's Republic of China is the sole legitimate government for the totality of China.
You don't want to use a war, but you're surrounding it with ships, drones, cyber attacks, and making lots of threats.
To eventually achieve peaceful reunification.
Your defense minister said anyone who dares to pursue independence for Taiwan will be crushed into pieces and face destruction. Sounds like a truly peaceful guy. I'm always amused with this phrase reunification because of its one China. And why this obsession with Taiwan? You are a country of 3.7 million square miles, a population 60 times that of Taiwan, economy 20 times the size of Taiwan. Why are you obsessed with Taiwan? Why not just leave them be?
Any inch of land is not 1 inch too much. Any one single person is not one person too many. So we need to achieve reunification
even though they don't want to be part of your country.
It's not up to the people in Taiwan to decide about the one China policy.
事の深刻さを理解するには、ガオ氏が過去の別メディアで放った衝撃的な発言を振り返る必要があります。彼はかつて、万が一、中国が台湾を統一する事態になれば、そこに暮らす日系人たちは国家への絶対的な忠誠を誓わなければならない。それに従わない者は容赦なく追放すると断言しました。 この発言は残酷な問いを投げかけます。生まれも育ちも台湾である人々が突然帰るべき場所を奪われたなら、一体どこへ逃げ惑えばいいのでしょうか。
You're very blunt in your disregard for people's views, freedoms, dignity. You say that you don't care about what they think. You also said in an interview with the French newspaper Le Monde, once we get the island back, we'll have to ask everyone's origins. Those who have Japanese ancestry, who you basically say can constitute 10% of the population, will have to pledge loyalty to reunification in writing, otherwise we'll have to help them leave.
会場の観客も今の主張にはドン引きしているようですね。
You didn't, by the way, you didn't say everyone. You said of Japanese descent. That is literally ethnic. You're picking people by their ethnic heritage, making them do a loyalty test. Otherwise, they have to get out of the country they've lived in.
It is not a
for
loyalty
decades.
test. Here, for example, in Britain, if you are a British citizen, you need to support the monarchy. You cannot say,
No, I'm standing in Britain. I don't support the monarchy. I don't like King Charles.
No, you cannot say. No,
I just said it.
Mehdi,
I literally just said it.
you cannot take any action to oppose the monarchy system.
But I don't have to sign a pledge saying I support King Charles.
Well, each country is different.
Let's talk human rights, Victor. You've called Uyghurs in China's Xinjiang province your brothers and sisters.
I know many of them. I travel to Xinjiang regularly, and I talk to many of the Uyghurs. Anyone is serious about accusing China of practicing mass injustice to the Uyghurs? Give me the evidence.
Human Rights Watch say 500,000 people detained over the years in recent.
I do not know where did they get the source.
So
of
their
the
source is the
quotation.
Xinjiang High People's Procuratorate, which has published its own statistics, Xinjiang official body, which says it's convicted 540,826 people prosecuted in the region since 2017. The United Nations Office for Human Rights looked at satellite footage. They say 10 to 20% of the population. Amnesty estimates 1 million people in camps. 500,000 is a conservative number. Let me ask you a question. How many people are in detention in Xinjiang? You give me a number.
I do not have the number.
No.
I go to Xinjiang a lot. I travel almost
So they're your brothers and
throughout
sisters.
Xinjiang.
You go there a lot, but you
Yes.
can't tell me how many people are in detention.
Listen, they are happier. They enjoy their life. They enjoy their Muslim practices and traditions.
How many of them are in court and how many in detention?
The very small minority.
So you don't have a number. You say they're all happy, but you won't let in independent investigators. You won't let in journalists
Why
to go
not?
there.
Why not?
They're not allowed to go there.
I will be happy to escort you to Xinjiang.
Really?
I can make that promise.
Really?
I will speak to the Chinese government.
Here's the problem,
to the
Victor.
Chinese
I don't want
embassy.
to escort. I don't want minders. I want to go freely. Will you allow that?
I do not make that decision.
Oh! A moment ago, you were going to make all sorts of interruptions. Suddenly I said, let me go freely and speak to Uyghurs freely. Can I do that with no minders?
I'll be
No
happy.
Chinese government escort.
I will be happy to make your case.
Oh, just now you said you'd organize it. Now we're about make a case.
Make
you
a
can't
case.
guarantee. You are a Uyghur who Victor says, brothers and sisters. Your literal brother has been held in an internment camp in Xinjiang since 2016, I believe. Rehan, tell us what happened to your brother and what is your response to Victor, to what you've heard?
まさかの展開です。被害者の家族が直接立ち上がり、鋭く切り込む息を飲むような瞬間。この絶対に逃げられない状況で、彼らは一体どんな苦しい弁明をするのでしょうか。
My brother Akbar Assad is a prominent tech entrepreneur. In fact, your own media outlet called him a bright star in the tech world. Right before his detention, he was invited on a state gala dinner, and then he disappeared. How could you explain that? According to UN, there's no trial has taken place. He just forcibly disappeared. Actually, it amounts to enforced disappearance. But according to the Chinese government, he committed a crime of inciting ethnic discrimination while he's systematically oppressed. Under the Chinese law, if you're committed with the alleged crime, that you have 3 years sentence, but he got 15 years. How do you justify that? Then they switch the crime.
The real crime involved by some of the Uyghur people are agitating for Xinjiang independence. They violate the One China policy.
They're being tortured. Numerous testimonies the UN has collected. Are you okay with that? Hold on.
As a
Victor, the
separate
accounts of
country.
detainees include being beaten with batons, electric batons, while strapped in a so-called tiger chair. 158 being subjected to interrogation with water poured on their faces, prolonged solitary confinement, forced to sit motionless on stools for long periods like this. You're okay with this? This is the proud
Maybe,
China?
probably you are reading the case in Iraq committed by the American
No,
soldiers.
I'm reading the UN report in August 2022 from detainees who came out of camps in Xinjiang. Your brothers and sisters, but these brothers and sisters you don't seem to give a damn about.
And I hope you will tell your brother, be a staunch supporter of One China policy, be a proud
I cannot
Chinese
tell him he's
Uyghur.
in.
When we talk about freedom of speech, for example, in China, I live in the United States of America, where I can say that Donald Trump is hypothetically, an orange-faced narcissist. I also live here in the UK, I'm British. Here you have Rishi Sunak, the former Prime Minister, was called a pint-sized loser by a Labour politician. No one in China has that kind of freedom to talk about their government, to talk about President Xi Jinping in that way. You can't say anything like that. You wouldn't dare say anything like that because you know what will happen to you when you go home. You know what will happen to your family. That's what China is.
Mehdi, if you do anything, write anything, email or chat to your friends about taking any action against, let's say, Prime Minister of Britain, President of the United States,
I didn't say that.
You'll be dealt with very swiftly.
Victor, you're a master of straw
China,
men. That's not what I said. I said Rishi Sunak was called a pint-sized loser. Would you call Xi Jinping a pint-sized loser?
Mehdi, each country has different sensitivities. In UK,
so you're admitting you can't criticize the Chinese government?
No. You can criticize the government if you are positive in attitude.
You can criticize the government if you're positive?
Yes.
Is that the new philosophy?
No, if you can come up with your...
You've got to come up with nice insults?
No.
What then?
Constructive advice.
Constructive advice? You can't say the president's lied, he's a liar.
No, you will be dealt with very swiftly in China. You cannot say that.
2019, on this very show, I asked a question. Is Xi Jinping gearing up to be president for life? Dictator-in-chief? I mean, he's the most powerful leader of China since Mao. He's abolished presidential term limits. He's now in his third 5-year term as president. So I'll ask again tonight, is he now president for life, a true dictator?
For the record, first of all, Chinese President Xi Jinping will never be president for life. There will be a time limit. When it will be handled according to the Chinese legal system and constitution. Secondly, there is no dictator in China.
The president won a vote last year. Won a vote. I'll put that in air quotes. Do you know the tally of last year's presidential vote in favor of Xi Jinping by the National People's Congress? What was the vote? 2,952 to 0.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
賛成2952票、反対0票。奇跡としか言いようのない、信じられないほど完璧すぎる数字ですよね。これが本当に民意なのか、思わず笑ってしまうほどの違和感です。
Could you not find a few people just to make it look a little even? One or two?
Mehdi, it's not surprising. It's not surprising.
2952 to 0.
It's
That's one man rule, my friend.
In the Chinese system, everyone supports the Chinese president.
One person out of 3,000 couldn't say, Xi Jinping, not my guy. One.
What if he is the guy for all the Communist Party of China? No.
They all have to follow the leader.
No, he does command huge respect among the Chinese people as well as
you say respect, I say fear. Do you know how many names were on the ballot papers that were given in 2013? How many names were on the ballot paper when they went to choose the president? Can you tell our audience?
I think there is only one candidate.
Yeah. There were no other names. That's a real secure leader. A guy who knows he has the confidence of his people. You get to vote, but only for me, and none of you can actually vote against me. You're a dictatorship.
There is no dictatorship, Mehdi.
There's no name on the ballot paper, no votes against him, and they all just follow him. That's a dictatorship. Former Foreign Minister Qin Gang was removed from his post and has not been seen in public since June 2023. A few months later, China's Defense Minister, General Li Shangfu, disappeared from public view for months, has now been expelled from the party, accused of corruption. That's at least 2 ministers that disappeared just in the last year.
This means China is really merciless in dealing with corruption of all kinds.
We don't know where they are, we've never seen them again. That's not normal, Victor.
Listen, corruption is rampant in China.
How do we know they're corrupt? They just disappeared. Where's the trial?
Corruption of all kinds in China need to be dealt with.
So where's the trial?
Mercilessness.
So where's the trial? Where's the trial of the former foreign minister? We don't even know where he is. Where is the trial for this man you're just accusing of corruption?
Qin Gang was my good friend for more than 20 years.
Where is he then?
He is involved in corruption.
Where is he?
And he is dealt with very swiftly.
Where is he, Victor? Where is the former foreign minister of China who disappeared? And by the way, he wasn't accused of corruption. The spokesman came out and said he has health reasons. Then corruption came later, by the way. Where did he go, your friend?
That means there is a process, and the process
starts with one lie that he's ill, and then the next lie is he's corrupt.
He may be ill. You never know.
I mean, he's probably ill after he's been in a Chinese prison.
He may be ill now.
Yeah.
He's somewhere in China. You will never see him.
Many other people who have disappeared. The previous defense minister disappeared. The Ministry of Industry and Technology disappeared. The former Interpol president disappeared. In China, you just disappear if they don't like you. That's the rule of law in China. And even if the people there don't want to be part of it, you don't give a damn.
The majority of the people live happily as Chinese citizens.
Victor, before we finish, I have one question for you. We're in the UK. We're in Conway Hall, historic free speech society. Could we do a show like this? Could I interview you like this? Could Rehan come be on a panel like this? in Beijing, in say the Beijing International Convention Center. Can we do a show like this? Audience members freely ask questions. You take questions from everyone. No one's vetted. No one's threatened. Can we do this in Beijing? Criticize Xi Jinping, criticize the government, ask you questions, talk about Uyghurs. Could you do it in Beijing?
Unless you
Well, I'm
have
glad you
a
answered the
very
question.
positive, constructive proposal to make.
今回のアルジャジーラのインタビューを目の当たりにして、誰もが疑問に思ったはずです。なぜこれほどの知識人が到底理解しがたい、常軌を逸した暴論を平然と口にできるのかと。しかし、その裏事情を推測すると、背筋の凍るような恐怖に襲われます。彼は、あの場でうっかり真実をこぼして自身の命を危険にさらすくらいなら、いっそ世界中から嘲笑を浴びてでも、あのような荒唐無稽な理屈を演じ通す道を選んだのではないでしょうか。そう考えると、本当に恐ろしい世界です。確かな事実が一つあるとすれば、非常識な言葉を並べ立てる彼の表情の奥底には、国家権力に対する逃れられない底知れぬ恐怖が張り付いているということです。本日も最後までご視聴いただき、心より感謝申し上げます。皆様からのチャンネル登録と高評価が次なる動画制作の強力な原動力となります。